Whoa, what happened to you, man?
You know that new intern we got?
Oh, yeah, the 8-year-old?
Yeah. You'll be surprised how hard an 8-year-old can hit. Is it bad?
No.
No? All right. Well, then let's start the episode. Are you sure? I can't see out of that eye.
No, it looks fine. It's good.
Okay, let's do
Trust
this. Bruises. They happen when you get hit really hard. And in movies, it's usually a special effects makeup technique. I mean, I've gotten bruises, actual bruises from you doing movies. Ralis, how do you do bruises?
Well, that and science.
No! You're gonna do the makeup, right? The makeup technique?
Correct.
God.
Makeup. I am gonna use makeup. And science.
F you!
All right, we're gonna be doing some makeup effects with bruising. They can be very simple or complicated. Today we're gonna be using some cream color makeups, working into some alcohol active makeups, and we'll even be going into, for continuity purposes, a bruise transfer. This is the materials list for brutal bruising. This is gonna be all the shit you need. We'd like to let you know that you can get all of these makeup supplies at Friends Beauty Supply. You can visit them online. They're a sponsor of the Mad Monster Lab, and we are thrilled to have them. So we'd like it if you guys would visit them online or in person and pick up your makeup materials from Friends Beauty Supply as well. So here we go. First thing that we have here is cream colors. This was from a Kryolan cream base makeup cream liner palette. I just put it in a smaller palette so it fit in my kit. Basically cream makeup colors. Next up is the Illustrator FX palette. You can use any FX or colors or anything like that. This is an alcohol activated makeup palette. The colors are activated with alcohol. They are dry to the touch unless activated with 99% alcohol. They're also water resistant and sweat resistant. 99% alcohol, just a small bottle. It has to be 99. I know you can find 90 or 70, but it's got to be 99% alcohol. A small dram cup. This is rubber mask grease paint. It's a specific makeup which can be used on top of latex. It can also be used directly on the skin. If I had to pick any material that I wanted to use and only had one choice, it would be this. It's a 24 color Pro palette that actually has 2 levels, flesh color and multicolor levels. Also a wax paper palette. It is basically exactly what I said. It's wax paper, just kind of a pile of it. You could use regular wax paper if you wanted to. You can get that at the makeup supply store or at an art supply store. Over here we have different makeup brushes. They're kind of smaller. I like to use synthetic brushes. They're easier to clean and I'm not afraid to ruin them. A small metal spatula, a powder puff, last but not least some neutral set powder just to set the makeup. All right, the first thing I do is I apply a little bit of red makeup because what happens when you get hit with a blunt object, you do some cell damage, some structural damage to the actual skin, and those cells burst and it bleeds a little bit, turning it red. Also, other fluid rushes to the area, so I'm going to do about 3/4 of an inch away. I'm stippling on a little more red makeup, which to a camera is going to sell the effect of swelling. And the swelling is a fluid that rushes to the area in order to pad it. So it's almost like a cushion saying, don't damage me anymore, I'm cushioned now. And between that and extra blood flowing to heal the area with fresh oxygen is what helps with the contusion. So we do a contusion like that, just like that. You have a little bit of red just around there. The flesh around the area actually looks lighter because of the red on the outside, hence giving the illusion of swelling. And with the camera only having one lens, it looks three-dimensional. Now we're going to move on to the black eye. Kind of the same thing. We're going to add, close your eyes please, John. We're going to go ahead and we're going to add red along here into the areas where blood will rush and settle into the crease under the orbit. I'm also using Giles' anatomy. Now this is saying that I'm actually following his orbit and his bone right along the side here, kind of where your temple is, but just below it, and the eye socket, and even going along the inside of the cheek here on the eye socket where blood's going to settle. And I'm going to add a little red in there and along the lash line. Okay, Giles, open your eyes and look up for me. Okay, oh, he's had this done before, you can see. He's done a lot of makeup. I'm going to add red right under the lash line. Also, I'm not working in fast, jerky motions, but slow, concentrated strokes. It makes it a little bit easier for the actor when you're working on them, because if you use sharp, jabby motions, they'll tend to blink and shy away from your brush. Okay, go ahead and relax. Now I can do some more dotting, and I like it a little bit speckled because skin is organic. It's not smooth. So you do get a lot of blotchy blood vessels, and blotchy's good. Blotchy's our friend here. So red blotches. And right there is a fresh bruise that somebody that just got hit. Now we're going to give it a little age, a little something there. We're going to switch to blue. So by adding just a little bit of blue, close your eyes, I'm going to go inside some of those same areas. Now I'm adding this into some of the same areas, but where the blood's going to settle. Along the lash line, on the bottom of the orbit there, like underneath where an eye bag would be, and along here in the crevice of the eye, and up here on the top of the orbit. Just little, once again, dots of blue. It's not smooth, sweeping lines. And that intensifies that. And you can see how now that's like a day-old bruise. And the reason why that happens is because the blood actually starts to collect in these low points, and it settles, and it starts to coagulate and then rot. Now the reason why it turns blue is that red is gone into a kind of a purplish color, and then it's mixing with the melanin in the skin, which has a lot of yellow in it, and it's starting to turn blue right there. We're also going to get shades of green and yellow as the bruise gets older, but I'm going to do a little bit of black now. Now the black is when the blood is really at its most rotted point. All those colors have mixed together and it's turned black. It's like festering nastiness in your skin. It's actually rotting, dying, decaying blood. Once again, that settles in the lowest areas. I've actually seen people's entire eyelids go straight black and underneath their eyes, completely just solid black from the amount of blood that is trapped there. And I'm not going to go out as far as I did with the blue. So the red is out the furthest, then the blue, and then within that is black, almost like coloring inside the lines, but with dots. It's a little bit of pointillism. It gives a nice dotty type feel. Now in order to make this an old bruise, we're going to add some yellows, and I'll explain why. I'm going to put a little bit of yellow. I'm going to make this an older bruise up here by adding some yellows into it. Once again, just dots, and when it mixes with the red, it gets a little orangey brown and all that, a little bit older. And I put a little blue there before, knowing I was going to do this, because I've actually seen somebody get hit in the head. And they get a huge goose egg on their head. But all the blood flowed down and settled into the eye, giving them a black eye. Their eye hadn't been hit at all. In fact, maybe you've seen somebody get a broken nose, and they get two black eyes. Their eyes aren't hurt, but the blood settles from the nose and goes into the orbits and the eye sockets. Now, what happens is, as the blood starts to break down and spread throughout the skin, it starts to migrate out, and it mixes and turns almost like an orangish yellow under the skin as it starts to decay and break away, and your body starts to absorb it. And actually, it just migrates outward, and that's why bruises spread. And there'll be browns and yellows and greens, and you can just go completely nuts with it. But this will give you a good, 3, 4, maybe even week-old bruise. Now I'm going to show you how to do a bruise transfer. Okay, I'm going to start off with a red tone, just like the other contusion, using these alcohol-activated makeups. Almost in the same fashion, I'm starting in the center with a couple harsh dots. This isn't blended smooth at all. And I'm going to do that ring with the same red about 3/4 of an inch around on the outside, leaving 3/4 to an inch of space in between the two. The reason why I'm doing such harsh, strong dots is because later when I do the application, the alcohol is going to mute those colors and soften them and blend them together automatically on Giles' skin. I'm going to do that with each color. So now I'm going to go in with a little bit of blue, and I'm putting some direction into this. I'm thinking about where the blood will settle on the bruise. So I'm actually thinking about it as I go. And once again, these are pretty harsh dots of strong color. And it's a little bit lighter towards the top here, a little darker on the bottom where I want it. Now, even though this isn't a real old bruise, I am going to add in a little bit of yellow. This will blend together with some of the reds and blues, creating some greens and browns too. And I'm going to kind of fill in between the red dots and the blue dots with some of this yellow here. I'm not going to do any black on this because it will be a slightly older bruise. And I would probably do that by hand anyway if I was going to. Now, just to kick things up a notch, I've got a blood tone here. It's kind of a brownish red. I'm going to add some of that in just for some emphasis, for a little more redness. And I'm going to put that strategically and place it down on here. Now it dries pretty much instantly. And I like to carry one of these around in my kit because it's good if a director, is like, hey, oh, in this scene they would have had a bruise here, or can we have a bruise real quick? How long is that going to take you? Instead of saying, oh, it's going to take me 15 minutes, you say, oh, it's going to take me 30 seconds. And that's a good thing, especially if it's on a body part. On a black eye, I think 15 minutes is more than reasonable. Now I'll usually take that and fold that in half and just put it in my kit, or I'll just rip it off and take it with me for application on Giles. Okay, so after you have that alcohol on there, you're going to go ahead and just press that in. And we'll take a sponge with a little more alcohol and press that on there, rub that in. And then voila, you just peel that back. And you can see you've got a lovely bruise. The alcohol actually blended that together. That's why it was such harsh dots on the transfer originally. Look at it now. The alcohol has kind of melted it and blended it all together, reactivated that makeup. Same thing on his arm. It made for a much more natural bruise on his arm. You can paint exactly the same design over and over and over again for continuity. This is great for blunt trauma to body parts and stuff like that. I would stay away from the eyes when working with this type of bruise because of the alcohol involved. Even the fumes getting into the eyes is too much. You can do it on a forehead or a cheek or a neck. Really on the face, it's not as safe as it is on another body part. But if you need a bruise in a hurry, it's a great way to go.
That's it for this episode of the Mad Monster Lab.
Plenty of bruises and contusions. Now remember that you're going to want to subscribe, okay?
They know where it is. It's right above me, the subscription button.
Yeah, for new episodes every other Wednesday.
Yep, and if you guys have any questions about these builds, as always, go ahead and ask Ralis on Twitter at MadMonsterLab.
Dude, it's constant.
What's constant?
But check out these videos down here for other cool effects and tutorials.
They're all right there. Previous episodes. And if you guys have any requests for builds, leave a comment below, because we're still looking to fill out our first season in a lineup of awesome effects. Well, we'll let you know if we pick any of them.
Definitely, if we feel like it.
Yeah. So far you guys have been doing good because, it works.
Okay, yeah. That was done with science.
I hate you!